Perfect. Go ahead and get us started.
Free Guy. So this is the latest action comedy from director Sean Levy and starring Ryan Reynolds and Jodie Comer. Ryan Reynolds plays Guy, who is a video game NPC, which is a non-playable character. He's an avatar within the game. Free City. Free City is kind of a mix of something like open world, like Grand Theft Auto. Free Guy, he's a bank teller. He gets robbed every day in this town, and it's one of those, it's a free kind of open world game where people just kind of, they get shot, they get beat up all the time, and he kind of gets a little tired of this and wonders. He has an existential crisis and is like, is there more to this than just me getting robbed every day? And he eventually sees Jodie Comer's character, Millie, or Molotov Girl, walk past with so much swag, cool outfit, pink hair, and he just kind of falls instantly in love and tries to follow her, and eventually is kind of killed and reset in the game. And he kind of keeps pursuing her, and he eventually puts on these glasses that make him see the world the way the gamers, the players, see the world, which is, they see all these signs, all these extra things, health bars, money, everything, and he starts just living life kind of on a whole different level because he's playing like a player, and it throws the whole game because all of a sudden there's someone who's not a player but kind of acting differently, and he decides to take on a very positive role because he said, I don't have to get punched every day. We don't have to get robbed. So he kind of turns into a little bit of a hero where he's like stopping crimes within the game, doing all this positive stuff. And he eventually becomes this huge sensation for the game, for the company. On the outside, in the real world, we have a couple of characters. Joe Keery from Stranger Things plays a character named Keys, who's he's a coder at this big kind of evil company that runs the video game. And Jodie Comer's real life character, Millie, there's a subplot involving IP stealing and them trying to take down the big guys, through the game. And so that's there's a lot going on. That's kind of our setup. It's an action comedy. The NPC realizes he's in a video game. That's the short version. So hopefully Zach's back by now. And Zach, what do you think?
So I actually kind of liked Free Guy, and I really didn't think I was gonna. I try to be pretty open-minded whenever I go see features, but like I said before we started this, like it felt like we had seen everything this movie had to offer. And if you've watched most of the trailers for Free Guy, honestly, you mostly have. But what's surprising about Free Guy is how charming it is in its presentation. It's not the most well-edited film. The plot is sticky and doesn't seem to understand like the medium of digital space. And ultimately the characters are a little thin, and it borrows a lot of tropes from other films that have done things a little better. But it's a clever combination of genres and blends that I think actually kind of works. It's charming. It's relatively heartfelt. It's not going to hurt anybody. It's a good popcorn flick. I'm surprised at how much I enjoyed Free Guy. Andy, what did you think?
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it more than I thought as well. Like I said, I thought the premise was a little thin from the trailers, but it kind of has a lot of heart. Like I said, it gets a little bit into this existentialism about like, what are we doing here every day? Why do I just do the same things? So that really resonates. This kind of digital romance between Guy and Molotov Girl is really sweet. It definitely falls into a lot of cliches, both inside the game and outside, but it executes it really well, and it's really sweet, and it actually does kind of work. There's a couple of extra plot points or the kind of subplots that you could probably drop for time because it did feel a little bit long. But overall, it's a lot of fun. It's very wholesome and positive in its message. There's good, fun action scenes. If you're a gamer, you'll definitely catch on to a lot of the references, and even if you're not, they kind of made the movie so that even if you weren't a video game player, that you would still understand and have fun in the movie.
Yeah, they've done a good job of making this kind of video game city that Guy inhabits. It's called Free City. That's the name of the video game and the name of the world in the video game. It's very like white collar. Everybody looks very clean lines, a nice place, right? But there's these people running around in the world of Free City that wear sunglasses. Ryan Reynolds addresses them in an opening monologue as sunglasses wearers, right? Sunglass people. And they are adventurous and boisterous and don't seem to care about the law. And they drive fast cars and rob banks and kiss girls. And they do all the cool things cool people do. And Guy and his friend, the security guard played by Lil Ray Howery, I don't remember his name in the movie. They are not that way. They're like normal people, right? They go to the bank and they work their jobs. So when one day Guy decides, hey, you know what? I want to try to be one of these sunglass people. I want to try to live life on the edge, huh? He gets a pair of sunglasses from a bank robber, puts them on, and discovers that he is a small part of something much, much larger. And the world is, I mean, if you've seen the trailers, you've seen it. Like, the world is presented as this like kind of digital signage stuff over things. There's health packs on the ground. It's a video game, right? Like it's a bit of the world of a video game that you can see. Your heads up display, your health bar, your ammo counter, how much money you have. Those are the things Guy sees through his sunglasses. And then it turns into like a They Live kind of movie, right? Like anybody wearing the sunglasses can see what's really going on. Anybody not wearing them is completely clueless. So much like They Live and Roddy Piper, he has to run around with these sunglasses and get other woke people to maybe wear sunglasses too and save the world using the power of this newfound vision, right?
Yeah, exactly. The mechanic. This is one of the things that's a little frustrating to me, is that it takes Guy a little bit too long to kind of realize he's in the game, which is kind of the whole premise of the film. And we've been talking about this lately with a lot of movies taking too long for their characters to realize the premise of the entire film.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it, because he puts on the glasses and he starts just doing all this cool stuff. He like can fight and he's like healing. He has all this money. But it takes him a while until he kind of meets a Molotov girl and they establish a little bit of a friendship before he finally realizes what's going on, exactly what's happening. And it takes a little bit too long to get there for me.
Yeah, it's a bit of a Truman Show experience. Free Guy is, or really, like an even better, more approximate comparison would be the Lego Movie, because it's fundamentally the same plot. Just like the Lego Movie, a guy is like Emmett, right? And he lives in this neat little cube world that's been created for him. And then he discovers, oh, I have this kind of unique power to do something different. He has to go against this wacky antagonist to save the world. Very similar to the Lego Movie, and also very similar to the Truman Show. And like Gandhi said, we noticed this I noticed this last week with Old, and since then we've been kind of observing this in films. Like, it is not a good screenwriting trope for your character to not understand what the audience already knows for over half the film. Like, for a couple of minutes, I get it, right? Like, I understand putting your characters in situations where they may not know what the audience knows. They may not know that the killer's around that corner, but we do. They may not know that there's a bomb under the desk, but we do, right? That's what tension is. So when you advertise a film as Ryan Reynolds is a guy in a video game, and then it takes, like, it's the end of the second act when he's finding out he's not, he is in a video game. It's like, we knew that the whole time. We've just been waiting for you to catch up, man. It makes things feel slow, and it makes you feel like the film is talking down to you, like it doesn't respect its audience. Like we wouldn't know or something, even though we obviously do. It's not great, but.
Yeah. It's a little frustrating. And what I was going to say is that a good example of avoiding that and doing it right, I think, is The Green Knight, because we set off on our quest maybe 15, 20 minutes into the movie, and where the audience is at the same place where our characters on screen are.
Mm-hmm.
We're not spending 45 minutes in Camelot waiting for the Green Knight to show up.
It's true. And Free Guy doesn't have the simple setting that Green Knight has, of course. It does have to jump back and forth between the virtual world and the real world. And that's where we get some different performances. Jodie Comer comes out of the video game world from her NPC as Molotov Girl, a rough, rambunctious, pink-haired Australian accent gal, to a meek, quiet, blonde American woman. She is a programmer who works for. Did you already explain this in the intro?
Yes.
That I was here for. Okay, great. Yes. I won't say it again then. Great. Yeah. Well, her and Joe Keery kind of have a little bit of chemistry as these two kind of dual programmers going up against this giant corporation, Tsunami, that owns Free City, that they feel is maybe not the most honest company, and Antoine, played by Taika Waititi, the villain, who is at odds against them, and this guy, free guy, Ryan Reynolds, who's running around his video game doing nice things instead of causing havoc and destruction, which I suppose is what he would want in a video game. So in between Ryan Reynolds doing his thing in the virtual world, you get people in the real world who are talking about computers and servers and how they're going to rewire the mainframe, and a lot of like the generic technology movie woke lingo that like ultimately is not that awesome. That's
Yeah.
in there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Taika Waititi's in this, and he kind of plays like the big bad Lord Business of this movie, played by that was Will Ferrell's character in
yes, Lord Business. Yeah.
So he's kind of this like super douchebag who like dresses really really weird and extravagantly, and like thinks he's like God's gift to gaming. And there's a big plot point about they're going to be launching Free City 2, and that's going to completely wipe out Free City 1, so they have to like save the game, save the servers or whatever, so you don't delete everyone in the game. As well, one of my big issues kind of with this movie is that it doesn't turn things up enough. Like the action is turned up to like 8 or 9. It never goes to 11. And I think and that's one of the things I think you kind of expect out of when you play video games. And that's what I would wanted to kind of see on screen, is that moment when like we're going to see our main character just go ham for a number of reasons. And we see some cool stuff, but it's never kind of turned up enough for me.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Typically in a video game, there's some kind of boss fight, right? Where your character is going to get kitted up and get all the cool weapons and stuff, and then they pull off a bunch of tricks, and there's going to be explosions. That never really comes in this movie. That's saved for the real world, right? That's saved for the people outside of Free City who have to deal with Taika Waititi and his madness. Who's having a lot of fun on screen, by the way. He's actually, much like Lord Business, a genuinely enjoyable villain to watch, just because he's terrible. Additionally, Ryan Reynolds, I think, is having a lot of fun in this movie. Obviously being the lead, and how old is he? We looked it up. 45. He cannot be doing many more of these features. Like in my opinion, the Deadpool bit works. He can wear a mask, but like the acting like a young hip dude, I'm just like, dude, you're coming up on 50. Like there may not be many more free guys for Ryan Reynolds, but he's good in this. What it is, there's some awkward lines. There's a couple chances he's given to improv lines, and they're terrible, and nobody laughs. But he's doing his best. Jodie Comer, meanwhile, is a delight. She's great in this movie. She juggles multiple accents, multiple characters. She ages up, she ages down, and she is 23, right? She's very young.
27, 28, I think.
27, 28. Okay, I was a little bit off, but she's off. The chemistry between her and Ryan Reynolds is okay. Additionally, any chemistry between her and any other characters is a little not awesome. Joe Keery's all right. The kid needs more work after Stranger Things, I think. And Lil Ray Howard,
he just always looks
okay.
like the kid from Stranger Things. Like he looks like his character. Like,
yeah, dude. Have you seen him with his haircut? Because like no. It's a little like Zoe Deschanel without the bangs. Like as soon as you take away this like signature,
the hair makes the look, man.
Yes, yeah. Like you don't recognize him. He's not as familiar. So I'm assuming he had to keep it grown out for Stranger Things season 4, which I think they're filming now. But wait, hold on. They made this like 2 years ago. I don't know why his hair's still long. I don't. I assume for Stranger Things, but yeah. Everyone's pretty good in this movie, I think. Pretty solid performances. The only real breakout is Jodie Comer, who I think is really good and probably needs more work.
Right. Everyone else we know, like I said, Ryan Reynolds, Taika Waititi, Joe Keery, Lil Rel Howery, that we know from Get Out. He's the best friend, the TSA agent in Get Out. So he's got some good comedic bits as well.
Yeah, he's not too bad. The comedy in this movie, like I said, is all right.
It's hit and miss.
Yeah, and I felt like it was a bit more miss than hit, but it did get a couple laughs out of me. So it at least mildly passed the laugh test for me. The action, like Andy said, is middling. You'd think it'd be a little better than it is, and honestly, the best action scenes are in the trailers. One thing I did think was really charming about this movie was the set design. being a video game, a lot of our characters have like secret layers. They'll have like a penthouse or a suite or a garage somewhere that's like underground and has sick lights. It's got a Ducati and like an Aprilia motorcycle and a helicopter in it, like all kinds of goofy, whatever these players would own in their digital accounts. That's what will be in their sick garage that looks like costs millions of dollars. So for like these little hidden layers, and additionally like where the office is located of Tsunami, the company that makes this game, really solid set design. I don't know who picked those out. I was really pleased with them. Good lighting. I was like, man, the city the guy lives in is really clean and good looking. Like, the settings of these places look really sharp, and that stood out to me. But yeah,
they did a good job of like really recreating a video game world in the stuff that isn't digital.
Right. Yeah. Additionally, you do get some good variety in presentation. The costumes are really simple, right? Guy's NPC, he has like 3 outfits and they're all wearing the same pants. They're really just a variation of shirts. You do get some fun with the sunglasses. I noticed at a few different points, Ryan Reynolds is wearing different models of sunglasses. So I guess
that would have been a good time for product placement.
Oh, I'm sure that like in the finale, it's like sunset and he's wearing this. I swear to God, they're a pair of Warby Parkers. I don't know for sure, but like I was looking at them, I was like, those are specifically picked for this scene to be like nice glasses versus action scenes where he's wearing like, big, thick Coke bottle lenses. He looks like Buddy Holly. So yeah, I think there's some product placement there for sure. I just don't know it, but overall, like the presentation for being a live action film, solid.
Yeah. And I was going to say, it reminded me of, we talked about this a little bit, of a lot of other films. Like you said, The Truman Show. I was also reminded of Inception and The Matrix.
Yeah.
When they're in the video game world and kind of create their own world and kind of manifest things a lot of times. So there's a little bit of that going on. It's very inspired by a lot of other properties, but in a good way.
Ultimately, I'm curious, Andy, is this better than you thought it was going to be? Is it right in the middle? I mean, because for me, I have to say it's probably a little better than I thought it was.
It's better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, my bar was like on the ground for this, so I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, me too. Any other thoughts for recommendations?
I'm ready.
Andy, would you recommend Free Guy?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's good action, good comedy. Ryan Reynolds is always good. Like I said, newcomer Jodie Comer, who we're also going to go see in The Last Duel coming out in October, is really good. It's a lot of fun. It's not necessarily rush out and go see it on the big screen. If you're not too excited about it, I'd just say save it for streaming. And the only thing I guess that really bothered me about it is like it's long. If it just kind of drags, could probably shave 15-20 minutes off it.
Yeah,
100-minute movie.
100-minute movie. That's what we're looking for, right? Yeah, we want it to be nice and tight. I did think initially going in the runtime on this was probably good. It was just a little over 90 minutes, but then ultimately it does start to feel slow in the middle. I think recommend Free Guy. I don't love it. It's not amazing, but like if you need a chill date night movie or something to kind of cleanse your palate at the theater, you just want something relaxing, take the family or the kids to, go for it. It's a solid feature. It's not going to hurt anybody. You'll probably get a couple good laughs out of it. It's not doing anything incredible, but it's not hurting anybody. So Free Guy, not such a bad scene, I don't think. And with that, we should move